Hey Casher, Derek here at Break 6 Clan. Today we're going to be getting to installing the buttons into the panel and doing the wiring for the Star Wars cache. Are you ready? Alright, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that I need to do is take my panel where I'm going to be putting the buttons. I got my buttons here and I'm going to be using 9 buttons on this one. And what I need to do is go in and determine where on this panel those 9 buttons are going to be going, and I need to go ahead and put the marks on there so that I can take it and throw it onto my drill press and put the holes in there and then go ahead and install the buttons before we do the wiring. That way I know exactly how long the wires I need to have as I'm hooking it all up. So let's go ahead and get the measurements and the lines onto the panel, and then I'll get it onto the drill press, and then we'll be back to go ahead and start doing all of the wiring. Let's go. Alright, so now I've got the buttons into the panel. I don't have anything on the back of it yet because what I need to do is take the LED switches that are here, and it comes with this one where it's either on or off when you push the button. But that's not what I want. This puzzle actually requires if you push a wrong button, it'll actually cancel the entire thing. You're gonna have to hold the buttons all down at one time for it to fire the latch. So what I have here is a different type of terminal or switch that it is, and it's very much like a reed switch because it has each one of these poles. One of these poles is a never open and the other one is a never close. So it works as a like a reed switch. So the current comes in. If it's a never closed, that means it's always there, and when you push the button it breaks that circuit and it won't cause the latch to go. So the way I want it to work is that when you push the button, it's going to go into the never closed section on the terminal, and that way when you push all the right buttons it's going to fire. So what I need to do now is actually go through and wire all these up, switch them out and wire them up, and then we'll start adding some power and doing some other stuff to it so that you can see how it works. So let's get it all wired up. Alright, so now I've got it wired up, and I've gone ahead and put on the cabinet latch on here as well so I can show you kind of how this works as when I test it. I've also put a little bit of some masking tape here on the button so I know which ones are the ones that actually activate it. Of course, this is not going to be the puzzle for when it actually goes out, but this kind of gives you an idea of how it works. And then as you can see back here in the back, it's really simply easy wiring. So it comes in, out, and then I just decided which one I wanted it to be in when I push the button that it opens or when I push the button that it closes. So that's what the real simple, easy wiring. Now I am going to go back in here shortly and also do light up for the LEDs, and that's the terminals here on the side here. And that's a little bit different wiring that I'm going to have to do. It's daisy chain from one to the next to be able to do that. So it's completely different than what the button activation is. So when the door opens, so there'll be a reed switch eventually that it'll actually activate the LEDs, so those come on, and then when you push the button it'll open up the latch. So let's go ahead and get into how this works. So really quickly, I'm just going to kind of attach my power source, and I want this to be my positive. So as you can see here, I got my positive, and I'm just going to connect this alligator to the top of the terminal, and then this other alligator, which is my negative, which just goes to the latch, I'm just going to connect it to there. As you can see, nothing happened. Okay, which is good. I didn't want it to actually fire when I actually originally just put it on there. So it's a good thing when I connected those two terminals that it didn't fire. Now, if I go through and I hit the right buttons, so let's see here. I have this one, this one, this one here, and I'm gonna hit just the wrong one. So hit these buttons, nothing has fired, but as soon as I hit the correct buttons, it will fire. And let me make sure that you can see this in here. So here, 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 and there it fired. So really, really quick, easy how that's wired up. Now the next thing I need to do is go ahead and wire the LEDs and get those lit up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those wired up, and then you'll be able to see the entire thing, how it's lit up. All right, so now I've got it all wired up and got the LEDs working and got everything ready to fire the latch, and that just looks really cool, as you can see. Now I'm switching the on-off switch on the battery pack so you can see those lights coming on and off, but that just looks really cool. I love the way that looks, of course, with the red, green, and blue on there. I mean, that's some standard colors of some lightsabers, don't you think? So it's just the red, green, and blue, and that's kind of why I went with that for this Star Wars cache. Now let's go ahead and see when I push the correct buttons of how it actually fires. Okay, so here, 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 and so when I hit this green buttons right here, it should fire. So let's see if it goes. And there it fired. Just such a really cool way of doing this. And this, of course, this doesn't have to be a Star Wars style cache. It could be anything. I just love this button puzzle, and it could be a whole bunch of different aspects. So I mean, the puzzle could be 2 red, 2 green, 1 blue, or whatever whatever you want it to be. You can figure it out, or you can have numbers or letters on this. So I'm going to go ahead and work up the Star Wars puzzle aspect of this to make this really really cool. Now, like I said, if you push the wrong buttons and you have to push 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, it doesn't fire. So it actually kills that circuit until you hit the correct one. And there it's firing that latch, so it's just really cool. I hope you've enjoyed this. Now this is, like I said, this is just a simple button puzzle. Be able to use these arcade buttons, and I use terminal ends on this one, and the cabinet latch. Now all those are affiliate links that I have down in the description, and it really does help the channel, and I really do appreciate it. But hey, I hope you've enjoyed this. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about this. I really would love to hear from you. Now remember, this is for the Star Wars Inspired Challenge by Gadget Talk that also co-hosts on the podcast. So check that out. We will be doing the reveals of our complete Star Wars caches. I'm hoping I'm going to have this done by then, but that'll be on May the 3rd, right before May the 4th. Be with you. So, all right. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Leave me a comment down below and check out another one of these videos just right over here and find the story behind the cache.